Hey Perrin, welcome to another DaddyCast Math. We're going to go over a few problems together, and then you'll do your workbook. So hopefully this will go pretty fast. One of the things they want you to know is that when you're thinking through these problems, if it helps you, you can draw a part-whole chart. Like this is the whole, and this is one fraction. Maybe it's 3/5, and this is another fraction. It's 2/5. How much is the whole? It's 5/5. Or might be something like, oh, this is, I don't know, 2/3. And for some reason they wrote this one as 2/6, which is really just 1/3. Or it might be that this one is 1/6. And then how much is left? Oh, here would be the part that they've told you. That 2/3 is really 4/6, 5/6. So you know this part is 5/6. And you know then that the whole, it's going to be 6/6. So this leftover part would be 1/6 also, something like that. So that's a part-whole bar diagram. You can also do the bars like that. It's really bad drawing again. Shoot. All right. Needs a straight line tool or something in this program. Whatever. What if it has one? Not that I know of. Anyways, if you break it out and say, okay, halves, quarters, eighths, right? It's kind of a bar chart. You can say, oh, here's 1/4, and here's 3/8, and here's 1/8. How much does that add up to, and how much is left over? Say, oh, how many eighths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6/8. That's really the same as 3/4, and this leftover part is 2/8. That's really the same as 1/4. So these are two different kinds of graphs or whatever that you can use to help you think through things, if it's helpful. Otherwise, you can just learn the numeric, the number way of doing things. All right, so here's the first problem. There's a girl named Harriet, and she likes birds. There's a bird, pretty lame bird, but whatever. And she goes to the store with her purse full of money. That's a dollar bill, and here's some quarters. Whatever. You get the idea. All right, she goes to the store, and she has her money. And it says that she spends 3/8 of her total amount of money that's in her purse. 3/8 of her money on a cockatoo. And she spends 1/4 of her money on a parrot. So the question is, what fraction of her total money did she spend? So 3/8 of her money, 1/4 of her money. All of her money, no matter how much it adds up to, if it's $50, if it's $100, if it's $3.50, it's like one amount of money. It's the total one amount of money that she had in her purse. So whatever adds up to, if it's $50, well, it's $1.50. If it was $100, it's $1.100. If it's $3.50, it's $3.50. So the total fraction is going to add up to 1. All right. So look, what you're going to do, find out what fraction of her money did she have in her purse. So here's the pause timer. Use it to pause and then figure out the problem on paper. Okay, I assume you're back from having paused and done the problem. So we have 3/8 and we have 1/4. What we need to add these up to is some kind of number that represents what fraction of 1 she spent. So they don't have the same denominator. 8 and 4 are not the same, so we need to turn them into the same denominator. It would be great if we could reduce it to 4. We could divide 8 by 2. That would give us 4, but 3 divided by 2 does not give us a whole number. So in this problem, that's not going to be helpful. Instead, what we're going to need to do is turn the 4 into an 8. And we can do that by, well, 4 times what? 4 times 2 is going to be 8. And then so we're going to do the same thing on the top, times 2. 1 times 2 is going to be 2. So 2/8. So we're going to have 3/8 plus 2/8. It's going to give us, put a plus here, it's going to give us 5/8. So she spent 5/8 of her money on a cockatoo and a parrot. And how much money did she have left over? She had 3/8 left over. Okay, that's the fraction of money that she spent right there. So that's the answer, 5/8. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on to this next problem. So she's got lots of birds at home. Let's say they're in this bird cage. All right. She's got a bird cage full of birds. All right. Maybe we'll draw bars to represent fractions. So in her bird cage, half of the birds are green. Okay. And then a quarter of them, making this up, a quarter of them are yellow. And an eighth of them are blue. All right, so let's write out this over here. 1/2 green, 1/4 yellow, 1/8 blue. And the rest of them are white. What fraction of her parakeets are white? Now, you can't really trust the bars that I drew to give you the answer. What you need to do is figure out how to turn these. So we want to know how much this is, and then subtract that from 1 to find out how much is left. 1 can also be written as 1/1. If you have to subtract from halves, it's going to be 2/2. Because any number divided by itself is 1. If you have to turn it into fourths, it's going to be 4/4. If you have to turn it into eighths, 8/8. Or for the 16th, 16/16. Any number over itself as a fraction is just equal to 1. All right, so here's the pause timer to pause and find out how much are white, which is this last section. We don't know what size it is based on the bars. You've got to do the math. All right. Okay, trust that you're back having figured out some kind of an answer. So one way to look at this is we've got these fractions to work with. We need them all to be in the same, have the same denominator so we can easily add and subtract them. It would be great if we could reduce the 1/8 and 1/4 to use the 2 denominator because that's the smallest, but That would be 4 divided by 2, and then 1 divided by 2, but that doesn't give us a whole number, and neither does 8 divided by 4 would give us halves, but 1 divided by 4 doesn't give us a whole number. So we're going to need to increase the 2 to an 8 and increase the 4 to an 8. So 1/2, if we increase it to 8s, it's going to be times 4 for each, the top and the bottom. So that's going to, 1 times 4 is going to be 4, 2 times 4 is going to be 8. 4/8 is the same as 1/2. All right, for quarters, to turn that into 8s, well, 4 times what is 8? 4 times 2. So then we do the same thing at the top. 1 times 2 is 2, so 2/8. And then for the third part, 1/8, that can stay the same. So one way to do this, the way that your book says, is to take 1. How do we turn 1 into 8s? We'll just put 8 over 8. So we're going to have 8 over 8, that's 1, minus the amount that's the green birds, which is 4/8, minus 4/8, minus the part that is yellow birds, 2/8, minus the part that is blue birds, 1/8. Sorry that kind of got mushed together over there. So the 8s on the bottom stays the same. We have 8 minus 4, that's 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 1/8 is the amount of birds that are white. Okay. One other way you could do it, it's pretty much the same. Let's clear out some of this. You can make a bigger eraser maybe. Let's see. Oh, that's really big. All right. The way I kind of thought about doing it is add this amount up and then subtract it from 1. It's pretty much the same thing. So 4/8 plus 2/8 is 6/8 plus 1/8 is 7/8. So that's how much birds right here, 7/8. That's how much we know about so far. And then 8/8 minus 7/8 gives us what's left over, which is the white birds, which is 1/8. All right. Did you get the right answer? If you have any questions, come ask me. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next problem. So this one, now that she bought the birds, now that she's got the birds, she needs to feed them something. So it says that she went and she bought 5/8 of a pound of birdseed. And 3/16 of a pound of sprouts, whatever that is. Sprouts for the bird, to feed the bird. All right. So the question is, how much did she buy altogether? First question is altogether. And the second one is how much more birdseed? Than sprouts. So these are two separate problems. And here's your 10-second timer to pause and then come back once you've figured out the question. Okay, welcome back. So, first question, how much altogether did you buy? How many pounds altogether? So we've got 5/8 of a pound, 3/16 of a pound. These are not easy to add together because they do not share the same denominator, so we need to convert the denominator. If, let's see, 16 we could divide by 2 and get to 8, but 3 we can't divide by 2 and get a whole number. And that's why they're always going to give you these odd numbers, because you can't change an odd number. If it was 4/16, then we could divide both by 2, and we could get 2/8, and that'd be easy to add. But it's not. It's 3/16. So we have to turn the 5/8 into 3/16, or into how many sixteenths it is. So let's do that. 8 times what is 16? 8 times 2 is 16. 16 looks a lot like pounds, doesn't it? That's confusing. All right, sixteenths, and then 5 times 2 is going to be 10. So 10/16. 10/16 plus the 3/16 is going to give us 13/16 of a pound of food for the birds. Yep. Then the next question is, how much more birdseed than sprouts? Well, we just are going to start out with the same thing. We've got the 10/16. That's more than 3/16. What's 10 minus 3? 7. 10 minus 3 is 7. So we've got 7/16 pounds more birdseed than of sprouts. 7/16 of a pound. A little less than half, because 8/16 would be half a pound. All right. If you have any questions, come and ask me. If you got the wrong answer, come and let's talk through it in your workbook. Otherwise, you can, or in your notebook. Otherwise, you can go ahead and start on your workbook. Workbook, page 75, 76. Then you have a little bit of extra practice today to help drive these fractions home in your brain. Pages 37 to 42. All right. And go and do your best math. Talk to you later.